Hello and welcome back to the Demis Hellen channel. In this episode we're going to be looking at creating a counter melody. So we're not going to make a melody perfection, but I'm going to show you how you can start building counter melodies on top of a melody idea or a pluck intro that you've already got. We're going to use that intro pluck here and I'm going to develop on top of that. So let's jump in. This is Cubase and we are going to look at this here. So a lovely little sequence here, all the same all the way across. I know it disappears behind my head, but let's focus over here. We're going to build a dotted eighth rhythm. So we've got 16th notes on here, and we're going to use the F because this is in F minor, and we're going to use an eighth dotted, so just 2 16th note between each one, till we get to the end of the bar, and then we just finish it off with a sort of like 2 16th rhythm. So let's just make those longer. And we're going to copy those across, so we've got it across all 8 bars. And I'm going to build a rhythm out of this. So if we look at what's happening here, we've got the F minor, and then we know all the notes that are in that scale. All the ones that are in green are in the scale, orange are not. So I'm going to build a nice little build progression here. So upwards to the G, and then to the A flat. And then I'm going to just hit the C. This is a guess. Okay, so I'm just going to try and swing that round, utilising the last note before we go back round to the F. See, just little things like that bring it back round, but we've created a counter melody here using the scale. But if we just drop this an octave, we can see we're operating with inside the melody here, and then we just poke out here, poke out there, here, and we just drop out at the bottom and back up again. So it's a good way to visualize where it's sitting with the flow, and that sounds really nice. So we can get a bit more extravagant with this if we wanted to. Let's just say I want to do this. To create some connecting notes. Not too much of a fan for this one because we are sort of moving through the scale, but we can definitely do that. It could be like this. It's up to you, but I don't want to overcomplicate this, but that is what we can do. And what this does, if you get the same sort of sound, put it into a different sound, but leave it on the same octave as this melody, and you're going to get some really nice harmonies coming through because everything's sort of like merging together. So listen to it up here, and then I'll transpose it down and listen to it here. Oh, would help if we're leaving the right key. So it becomes less obvious as it stays with inside. Obviously it's the same sound, but if you had a different one, it would sort of mask away in the background, just give something a little bit extra to the sound. And then those bits that poke out above it over here, just help it sort of elevate and come into view and then back down again. Now, what we can do is copy this down one track. This is a piano just out of Nexus. I've just picked a random preset and delete all the extra notes. Selecting all, and I'm just applying a legato here to extend all the notes automatically, apart from that one. And we've now got a piano counter melody. So what I'm going to do is create a little bit of a bass line out of this sound here. So I'm going to copy this one down, but move it to the front of the bar. And I'm going to follow, let's just try following this pattern here. So it's like we're mimicking the bass. In fact, let's go down. And then go upwards to that final note. And you can see it's a flat in this case. And that's where we are on the bass. It sounds cheesy, doesn't sound quite right. So what we can do is look at the full chord structure of this. So because we are on a flat there, F is the root if we're going for an F minor, and C is the top. So let's try and go for C. It's a bit too far. So I'm going to go for that A sharp or the B flat. And it creates a nice little bit of dissonance there using that A, that B flat there, because you can see we go to the C, but we're operating here on the bass on this point. So we're getting a nice little mixture of sounds, and we're just creating different chord structures using these, but we're not going into too much detail. So let's mimic that exact bass on the other side and see how it fares. Maybe we'll go down to the B flat here instead of upwards. Works really nice, so you can copy that idea. In fact, let's keep it. Let's move it over there. But I'm just going to change this up. It sounds like it needs to go higher on that bass. That works really nice, but instead of that going down, so we're just introducing that D flat in there. Now, because these would be on separate tracks, your bass would be on a separate track, you could actually transpose that E flat to go right up here, so it mixes in with it. We could even resolve, that a little bit better. Sorry, meant to be on F there, so we're going back to the root note. Beautiful. And you can see now that counter melody just falls in place now that we've got that little bit of a bass line going. So you can see ideas bounce off each other. I was just going to show you a bit of a counter melody on top of this without any bass movement. Now we've got a bit of bass movement. I'm starting to develop an entire sort of piece for the intro, or maybe even the main melody. So there we are. That is developing a little bit of a counter melody. If you did enjoy the video, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, ask away. And with that said, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can get hold of the merchandise here or become a patron to help support the channel as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Take care.